Hello, welcome to the first episode, where we will show to you few news about my last dev research about the events, releases, dev tips, tweets and news. For instance, Google in series about DevTools showed useful tip for developers. Take a look.
By default, the Styles pane shows hex color codes. To view RGB or HSL, hold Shift, then click the color box.
Even you showed how many developers are using DevTools package for Google Chrome. Some time ago they released 5th version of this package and it's useful for debugging Vue application. If you want, you can check some quick look.
And DevTools weekly active users, I like this metric a lot because I think this is a very one of the most accurate metrics to tell actually how many people are using Vue.js around the world. And we have now over 355,000 users around the world, and in 2000, counting to today, this morning. So I took those stats this morning. So over 300% growth since.
If you like this kind of daily, weekly, monthly presentations, please subscribe and feel free to add some useful articles in comments. For sure I will check it and maybe I will use some of them in next episodes. If some of your project require adding accessibility, please look at this video from last Amsterdam conference for developers. I really like it.
Oh yeah, so I'm just going to apologize in advance. The screen reader's going to talk, I'm going to talk, we're going to interrupt each other, we're going to have a little fight probably. I'll try to avoid doing that, but we might end up accidentally talking at the same time. Yeah, so first it tells you where you are, then you can click around the page.
In Accessibility Demo, Web Content, Banner, Heading Level 2, Accessibility Demo. You are current navigation, visited link, index.
So you can click around, it tells you what kind of element you are, what type, what it says. Then, so you can click around just one element at a time. You can press a button to get it to just read everything out in order. But what I find most useful and what I believe most people who use screen readers do is they navigate between certain types of elements. So for example, I can press a keyboard shortcut.
Heading Level 1, Heading Level 2, Heading Level 1, Heading Level 2, Accessibility Demo.
And it just goes between the different headings. There's also a different shortcut for links.
Index, hidden element, search, visited link.
Software testing is really important. In applications with big infrastructure, we should write tests to cover all possible user stories. Edd from Vue core team will tell for us how and what we should test.
So we've looked at what unit tests are and why we should write unit tests, but the biggest question is how to write unit tests and how to write effective tests for components. Because although having no test for a component can make it really difficult to develop and really easy to introduce bugs, at the other end of the spectrum, if you have tests for every single line of output of a component, every single element that the component's rendering, you can get into a problem where you're hesitant to refactor and change your components because you're tied to the test that you've already written.
Do you know GraphQL? It's in my current project and I think that GraphQL and Apollo works really good together. Still, I need to improve my skills in these technologies, but it's worth leaving rest in past. Also in this series, I would like to share with you all my reading lists from Dev to Apple Worldwide Developers Conference will be between 3rd and 7th of June. Like always, Apple will show software for their products. For sure, this is the most interesting conference in this year. If you are reading JavaScript code, there is a good option to know some style guide. One of them, Airbnb JavaScript style guide, has really interesting documentation, which you can use also for looking for some code idea or samples during your next feature implementation. At the end, I would like to show for you Quasar framework. A few months ago, they released beta version. This Vue framework is powerful and it helps to build application. Quasar has now new extension feature, which can save our time. One of the interesting extensions is Quasar testing. Thank you very much for your attention. Please remember to leave like, subscription or comment. Have a good week.